The other story that we've been covering for the past week, for the second consecutive week, NFL players stood their ground against Donald Trump's criticism of their kneeling during the National Anthem. In London, at the game between the New Orleans Saints and the Miami Dolphins, the entire Saints team and coaches kneeled before the National Anthem was played in what the team said was a gesture of unity. But during the anthem, 3 members of the Miami Dolphins, they took a knee. The protests are also taking hold in the NBA. At a preseason game over the weekend between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the LA Lakers, both teams locked arms in a show of unity and solidarity with NFL players' right to protest. The Lakers, who have been supportive of the kneeling protest since last year, also locked arms in a show of unity, but none of the players took a knee. But the team will continue to do what it did during its preseason game against Minnesota in every game that it plays this year. Lakers head coach Luke Walton said, "We are in this together. I think they chose to show that we are united in this and that obviously they have a ton of respect. Well, I will let them speak for themselves, but I have a ton of respect for the country, the flag, the military. But by locking arms, I feel like we are showing that there are issues in this country, and it is a chance for us to raise awareness and still make it a talking point. If you do nothing, then it kind of goes away. And if it goes away, then nothing changes." The protests at sporting events have not been limited to black pro athletes. At a St. Louis Cardinals game on Friday, demonstrators unfurled a banner that read, "Stop killing us." They also chanted, "No justice, no baseball." The demonstration was part of the latest protest against the acquittal of Jason Stockley, the former St. Louis police officer who was recently acquitted of killing unarmed black motorist Anthony Lamar Smith. Meanwhile, in Texas, 2 African-American teens who played football at a private school were booted off the team for protesting during the national anthem. Cousins Cedric Ingram Lewis and Larry McCullough kneeled during the anthem before their game on Friday night to protest racial injustice despite warnings from their coach who served in the Marines. They were kicked off the team on the spot.
Me and Cedric have people in our family who have served and who are serving now, and we talked about it with them and they were okay with it. Like they don't see anything wrong with it because they know we're not disrespecting them or what they're fighting for us.
The coach, I guess I said, a Marine Corps veteran, said he warned the 2 young men and others not to protest.
Guys, I said, you know, we will not kneel on the national anthem. If you do this, I said, your days playing for the Sharks are over.
Joining us via Skype from New York is Rashad Robinson, Executive Director of ColorChange.org here in D.C. Former NFL player Brian Mitchell, he was a running back and prolific NFL returner for the Washington Redskins and Philadelphia Eagles, and also as a sportscaster here in nation's capital. I want to start with you, Rashad. You made it a point with Color Change that you're trying to, with the players, refocus this on why they are protesting and not just it's all about the flag and the anthem.
Well, exactly. A lot of the messaging that's been coming from the NFL, some of the coaches and owners, is all about unity. Unity without justice, unity without really concentrating on the systemic issues that are facing the community doesn't actually move us forward and doesn't speak to the reasons why Colin Kaepernick took a knee in the first place. We're hearing a lot of statements from coaches, some of who even gave millions of dollars to Donald Trump, talking about how we all need to come together. But what many of the players, in fact, over 40 of the players have really said is they put together a platform of issues that they wanted the NFL to tackle. And in particular, focusing November on a month of focusing on racial justice and criminal justice reform. And so we're hosting a petition really of everyday people who can sign that petition and stand with these NFL players who want the league, which is over 70% African American, to focus on a set of issues, just like the league focuses on issues like breast cancer awareness and other important and critical issues. We want the league to focus some time and energy on the issues of why these players are taking a knee in the first place and help to use some of their political and economic capital, which would not exist without the talent and brilliance of black people, to work with the community to start moving some issues forward.
Brian, when you see this reaction to the players who are making it clear it's about social justice. ESPN had a story of the weekend where the owners had very contentious meetings last week, and they kept saying, look, this might mess up our money. You have the Lions owner who literally has been begging players saying, do not protest, and I will give money to whatever cause y'all want. for the NFL owners, this comes down to bucks.
It's all about dollars and cents. And I said that last week when I saw owners locking arms with the players, I felt that the players have to be careful with this. Because the owners, are they locking arms because they believe in the cause? Are they locking arms because they believe in, I got to protect my money? And these players have to understand, these owners, they supported Donald Trump. They're not going to all of a sudden
7 of them gave $1 million bucks his inauguration.
They're not going to just turn all of a sudden. And I think the players have a right to do what they're doing. You know, you can't tell, like this high school coach, you're not going to protest. No, you can't tell people that. It's like the mindset has been stay in your place and everything is good. And I can't deal with that. Now, I don't think many players are going to deal with it, but they need to be careful of these owners who are locking arms with them, acting as if they support their cause when they ultimately are just supporting their dollars.
And the only team that has really done something substantive here has been the 49ers. When Dr. Harry Edwards was on the panel at Congressional Black Caucus, I had him, I said, describe what took place. And when Colin Kaepernick initially took a knee, the owner said, Harry, this on you. This is in your lane. And what happened was Jed York, the owner of the 49ers, said, Harry said, Colin's giving $1 million. Jed York said, I'm going to give $1 million. And then the 49ers put together a series of initiatives where they went to local police departments talking about trying to, how do you bridge the gap in terms of relationship with the community. The 49ers actually have a very substantive plan that goes beyond just, hey, we'll send a couple of bucks. To me, that's what the owners should be saying. How do we do that versus, hey, I wish y'all just stop?
Well, and that's exactly right. Just like Malcolm Jenkins in Philadelphia, he's doing the same thing. He partners with the police department and goes into different neighborhoods. That's going to bridge the gap right there. This whole thing started because the injustice to African American and minorities around the country. It's not just about the flag or anything like that. Every time I hear a veteran that says, well, they're disrespecting me, well, I hear another veteran saying that they have the right to do it. So who are we going to believe? Are we going to only believe the person that pushes our agenda, or are we going to believe the masses, okay? And I've heard more people say it's the players' right to do so. My dad was in the Army for 20 years. I had Doc Walker, who I partnered with on the radio. His dad was in the Army for over 20 years as well. And those two people, before they passed away, always told me, you have the same rights as everybody else in this country, and I expect to be given those rights and treated the exact same way. This thing we could say is not black and white, it's ultimately black and white. Because when a black person is trying to express his things in this country, they normally get demonized just like they've been getting for weeks.
Rashad, I can't recall any protests involving black folks that somehow America embraced. You have General Michael Hayden, former head of the CIA, 4-star general. You have former head of the CIA, John Brennan. Both of them have said they support these players' right to protest. It's amazing the folks at Fox News and other places will ignore these patriotic Americans.
Well, we actually can never expect Fox News to do the job that needs to be done in terms of really telling the truth. But the fact of the matter is that these protests are actually polling much better than the lunch counter sit-ins of the 60s. They're polling at like 40+%. They're polling much better than the protests led by Dr. King. We've somehow Disneyfied in many ways the struggles that black people have faced over the years and made it seem like everyone was in favor. But what has always happened with black people's struggle and progress in this country, there's always been people on the side who have pointed as folks have been trying to climb the hill that have said, you're not doing it right. Well, if you just say it this way, we'll support you. Or there's better ways to do it. In fact, the fact of the matter is I've had the privilege of talking to many of these players who have taken a knee. I spent a lot of time talking with Eric Reed, and my organization has been supporting him as he's written op-ed pieces in the New York Times and really spoken out. He was the first player to join Colin Kaepernick and is still a member of the 49ers team. I've talked to these players as they've become educated about bail reform, about the role of district attorneys, have been watching movies like 13th and reading Michelle Alexander's New Jim Crow. These are players who have all had different types of experiences throughout their life, experiences that black and brown people have in this country every single day. And now they're using their powerful platform to not just care about themselves. We talk about young black people who gain prominence in music or sports, and we want them to do more for these communities. These football players are representing the very best of what we want from people. All of us in the community need to find ways to stand with them and make their voices more powerful.
Rashad Robertson, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Brian, hold tight 1 second.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh, my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.